Hi, David Erdos back with a new poem. These pieces are always about sharing and not imposition, I hasten to add. You may all want me to go out more, but it's always dangerous when I'm in, as I may oversnack or bid the poems come. This piece was sparked by watching a so-called TV documentary last night called The Cancellation of 40 Towers, in which that classic show was brought into question in terms of both relevance and resonance in today's society. It brought to mind very much the thing which concerns me a great deal, the death of discernment, which I believe accounts for the ruins we are currently raking through, from societal and political collapse to our concession towards infamy and the rise of unending series of despots. So while this piece is about a specific subject matter, I hope it has a more general scope and resonance. And it was a strange timing for a TV show at a point where John Cleese is enjoying a level of resurgence following his stage revamp of the TV series. It is as if the current ethos was, what should we kill next? Falling Towers. The other night, tucked away on Channel 5 of all places, a talking heads treatise threatening the Cleese and Booth gift, which they call the cancellation of 40 towers. Time's test in the gaze of post-teens and long past their delivery date baby boomers, gratingly placed before, respectively, a bar-bound mounted mobile and a vintage sofa set and stale papered wall. Who was best? Hard to say, as both in the test conceded to expectation, the aged defending old choices backed by Sir Trevor MacDonald's somewhat strained gravitas, while the young looked bemused by lines and attitudes far beyond them, as well as before them, as if, odour rising, there was a sell-by date on the past. But perhaps that was the point of this trite and somewhat trivial programme, blessed by Stephen Burkoff voiceover and his theatrical tones, caustic rise. Different worlds colliding, of course, and off course too, as I watched them, with the series making it through by lapping laughter, as it has always been sitcom's prize. The sit as important to it as the com, as even the hotel is funny, with its chipboard walls, moose and people as close to collapse as its stairs, and its ineptness writ large. This place of falling dreams, cartoons violence, Basil lashing out at car, wife and waiter as a means to explicate his despair. For 40 Towers, while real, transmogrifying its Donald Sinclair inspiration, was a comment too on backwaters, so often found on dry land, in which strange and strained creatures grow, seeking either the light of acceptance or the form of dark which grants cover to the very thing that unseats us, and for which, at the end of the day, we can't stand. Failure. To grow up, or back down, or to face our commitments. To change beside seasons, or to provide properly. Hotels should be homes, for however long you stay in them, or better than home. 40 Towers will, from their first story, always serve the soup of sense, sloppily, as a form of uncare home for those carelessly caught within it. From Ballard Berkeley's Major to Gilly Flower and Renee Roberts's Mrs. Tibbs and Gatsby, to Andrew Sachs's Brave Manuel, Tripped and Trapped, or Connie Booth's Princess Polly, the guiding force, who, like Prunella Scales's Sybil, remained Cleese's captives, of course, never free. Perhaps Basil's grip was too tight as the towers toppled around them. And it is that desperation and the then Cleese's joint writing skill which provides the reason why this 50-year-old oak remains the top comedy tree in the forest, that these producer lumberjacks, Hay, Donkin and Levy, have been commissioned to find fit for felling. Subject to scrutiny here, what's compelling is how discernment remains unapplied. Everything is now about what's preferred by the deferred generation, or whatever controls them. Nothing is known, only shared now. But I wonder, how did PC first modem the modern from the ash of the old? What has died? At one point in this show, they echo the Cleese and two Ronnies class sketch, with a Generation Z on her smart Alice phone, as next to her the bad-shirted middle-aged man looks askew. It made me feel sick, this cheap trick, a form of so-called virtue as voucher, to be traded in for opinion and for the reasons why each age has its view. There are lines in Fawlty Towers whose words are naturally of their time, yet they're heightened. In a manic state of depression or bewilderment, long-trod tropes still surmount both reason and rhyme, not to mention ancient marmalade labels. But parodies about people and what they have become are accounts, reportage, and need no ignorant edit. It is not the word, but its usage. Lenny Bruce died for that. In cutting language up when we text, or bow-like when we pass an emoji for emotion, speech, spiel, is shat on and will stick in the teeth to be spat. We are not progressing at all when we use this word cancel. We protect nothing, because the debate has been dulled. The two times fail to talk. Lessons remain unlearned. So now students afford the culture's teachers detentions when comedy is corralled and brought close enough to be culled. In the Channel 5 show, pundits react to a line or scene for fast judgment. Flowery twats is not on the buses, or Love Thy Neighbour, or Alf Garnett's frequent overspill. Yet he was a figure of ridiculed fun, what we might call the best of the bigots. But look now, kids, we elect them. So which turn of phrase should we kill? Perhaps Johnny Spate wrote too well and over-egged his prose pudding. But stare into the screen in the mirror of where and what people are shimmers through. We need a branch between trees in that 50-year forest, which looked at the decades before it and what they had reared and ripped down to be true about the issues all face, and about the strains life engenders. Basil balances bigots, whether at the reception desk, bar, or stoop, be it through Mrs. Richards' hearing aids or Sybil's discontent at O'Reilly. We cannot, in clear conscience, wipe everything away in one swoop. It is not all the same. There is a fight and force to what's truly funny, as it dares us to question what motivates our own hearts, not to mention our minds, as scorched and subject to strain as they are also to sunlight. Charlie Chaplin loved young girls, so what do we do with his art? You set each day in its frame. Call it a cage if you have to, but keep it up there and mounted so that those to come quantify what is right, what is left, and from what source taste finds season. It is, if nothing else, for this reason that Cleese and Booth brought us laughter and craft for some future sailing. For if Basil Fawlty fails, dodos fly over a wrecked river and sea of polluted perception. There are some who would make it extinct. That discernment. Those are who we all should be judging, be they politicians, trendsetters, or those who want to make the bitter seem better. So I say to you, Leaves, learn together, and in all weather, know the full difference between what something is and its why. David Erdos, June the 1st, 2025.